Southern Maryland Food and Drink is pleased to present Churning Butter is as easy as shaking a cocktail.
Hi, what we have here is a Butter Basics butter maker, and you make butter with it by filling it with 1 cup of heavy cream, set out for 6 to 8 hours, then shake for 3 minutes. That's what the recipe says right on the bottle. Strain out the buttermilk, rinse the butter with cold water, and strain liquid. Repeat step. It then shows you some measurements, and it also gives you a couple of recipes. One for honey butter, where you add a tablespoon of honey, or roasted garlic butter. It unscrews at either end, and there's a strainer at this end. And this is about $12 or $13 through Amazon. We got it a few months ago because we wanted to try making butter. But thinking about it recently, I thought, do I really need that? Because look at these things behind it. Cocktail shakers. They open nicely. They have a strainer. And you can get one of these for $7. The green one came with a purchase of gin. So that was part of a gift pack. And they come in a lot of different sizes. So the other thing is, of course, you can make a lot more butter in one of those than you can in this, because this only will allow you to make 1 cup of your cream at a time. And comparing the sizes, you can see I can make maybe 2 cups worth or more. I've got some shakers that are even bigger than this. So let's give it a try. Now I've got out my cocktail shaker and a couple of things of whipping cream. This one is a small one and has already been used partially, so I'll finish this one off. And we're going to fill up to the 2 cup line here. Ah, fell out of the trash can. We'll get it later. And there's 2 cups of cream. And you can see that that didn't really fill up the whole thing, but we'll now cover it and let it sit for a few hours. Basically want to get it up to room temperature before we try to make our butter. So we'll come back in a bit. It's now 5:19 p.m. and a little over 6 hours have passed, so we're about ready to start making butter. Now what I was going to do is to try to make a maple syrup flavored butter. So I am going to add 2 tablespoons of maple syrup to the container, or actually the cocktail shaker, if you will. So remove that. And I warmed the maple syrup just a little bit so it would flow easily, and also then be matching close to the temperature of the cream. There we go. 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. On goes the lid. There tends to be, sometimes the top wants to pop off if it's tightly sealed. So now we have to shake for 3 minutes. I'm not going to record the whole 3 minutes, but the basic idea is 3 minutes of this I've been shaking for a couple of minutes, and the sound has changed distinctly. What you can hear is there's very little liquid sound now. So let's see what it looks like inside. What we've got now is something closer to whipped cream. So the transition is happening from cream to whipped cream to butter. Time to shake some more. The next step is to pour off some of the liquid. There we go. That is what is known as buttermilk, which is good for making biscuits. And this is what it looks like. So we're getting to be the consistency of butter. And I'll shake it a bit more. And after a bit more shaking, you can see that it's getting more solid and more of the liquid is coming out, which I'll now pour off. Fairly good amount of butter in there. Now I've added water to the container to help rinse off the butter, so then you can see much clearer now. And I'll do that again. Now I've added some more water to rinse it. And you can see it just coming out cleaner or clearer. And I'll do it one more time. Before I do the last rinse, I thought I'd show you what I got. That's a pretty good size serving of butter, but we'll rinse it one more time and then we can remove it. And if you look at it, the butter floats in the water. So it's now completely off the bottom. And I'll just shake it a few times and then pour it out. And the shaking's just to rinse it. And you can see how much clearer the water has become. Problem now is the butter is blocking the flow a bit. So back and forth to allow the water to drain. Not exactly sure what this container size needs to be for this, so we can try it a couple of ways. Oh, it fits well in that ramekin. And you can see there's still a bit of moisture there. Can easily drain that off. To get the last of the excess moisture out, I'm going to move it into a fine mesh bag. You can use cheesecloth, or what this is what's called a nut milk bag. Which I can then gently squeeze to get out the rest of the water. Now the water that you see coming off is not all from the butter because I just rinsed the bag too. But now I'm gently squeezing. And of course I don't want the butter to come through, I just want the water to come out. And now the butter's starting to come through. So I've got about as much out as I'm going to get. I'll transfer it back to the ramekin. There's a good bit that's gotten down in that corner. So I'm trying to save as much of my butter as I can. Now I'm ready to cover it, put it in the fridge, and let it set. But before I do that, I'm going to give it a taste. Could have used more maple syrup. Tastes like butter. That's a good thing. Rather than messing with plastic wrap, I'm just going to use a nice quart-sized baggie. And wrap it up. And now it goes in the fridge. Okay, our butter has set overnight in the refrigerator. So let's try some. Of course, it would have been better perhaps had I let it sit out for a bit, but this will work. There it goes. Not bad, huh? And now this morning I can taste a bit more of the maple in it. Definitely sweet. Quite good. So if you want to make flavored butter at home from scratch, it's easy to do.
Thanks for watching.